stupid witch and her annoying werewolf to his presence. If they were still asleep, all the better. With slow steps, the warlock moved down the dirt road between the rising dunes on either side and flexed his fingers at his sides. A gust of wind picked up to pelt the back of the RV with sand and a few larger pebbles from the dirt road. He stepped around to the right side of the Winnebago, knowing he'd find an entrance there that would give him easier access, and hopefully the advantage of surprise against the occupants. Something he wouldn't have if he tried to climb through the front door. When he rounded the back of the vehicle, he stopped. A faded blue beach towel was spread out in the sand beside the vehicle, slowly being covered by the winds and the ever-shifting desert. On that towel, though, was Lily Antony herself. The young witch lay on her back in a zip-up hoodie and baggy sweatpants, her arms resting serenely at her sides. Her blonde hair fanned out around her head, some of it completely covered by the sand that had drifted toward her for however long she'd been lying there. Magnus smirked. "I heard she was dumb. But how stupid does someone have to be to sleep on the side of the road in the Sahara without shelter? Unarmed." It took considerable willpower not to snort at how easy a catch this would be. Carmichael had mentioned rewards for any members of the Black Heron Society who personally delivered this sleeping witch to the high seat. "It looks like that's gonna be me." The warlock's feet made no noise over the loose sand as he moved toward the witch. When he stopped only a yard away, he stretched his fingers again. Red, shimmering orbs of a containment spell flared to life in his palms, and he couldn't wait to use them. As he raised a hand toward her, Lily's eyes flew open. They glowed a bright, blazing white in the twilight before dawn. "What the?" He didn't see the long copper rod in the young witch's hand until the inverted U-shape at its tip raised and pointed directly at him. The same white beam of light burst from the tip of the rod and struck him squarely in the chest. Before he could scream, he was gone, erased from the desert as if he'd never been there. Lily raised her head off the towel and stared at where the warlock had stood in front of her. After a moment, she lowered her head onto the towel again and sighed. "I don't care how quiet he was. I wasn't done meditating." She glanced at the copper rod of the Verilos in her hand. "And now that conversation's over. Thanks for the heads up, though." She pushed herself up until she sat on the towel and gazed west down the road through Pheasant. "Huh. I honestly didn't expect them to drive after us now that we're this close. Let's go see what he left us." With a regretful sigh, she really had enjoyed the meditation time. She pushed quickly to her feet and moved down the road toward the warlock's abandoned Jeep. The driver's side door was still open. The copper Verilos rod swung in her hand. When she reached the vehicle, she climbed inside, sat firmly in the driver's seat, and glanced around. "It looks like a car that can make it across the Sahara," she mused and flipped the visor down to check for anything tucked behind it, but found nothing. "I'd still take the Winnie over this any day. Oh, hey, look at that." After a moment's hesitation, she picked up the warlock's canvas jacket, careful not to let her fingers touch the black and silver pin beneath the collar with the image she knew only too well. A black heron, its wings outstretched in flight and neck slightly bent in the telltale U-shape. Well, at least I didn't teleport a random warlock ready to blast me to oblivion. Now, I have proof of who he was working for. With a shrug, she dropped the jacket onto the passenger seat and focused on the phone in the center console. It was locked, of course, when she picked it up. But days of not being able to sleep, thanks to the blaze of yellow light only she could see that lit the way toward her mom with no off switch.